Welcome to the first lesson in SunTools training. The first thing you need to do is download and install the SunTools application. After doing so, you'll notice a SunTools icon on your desktop. Simply double-click that to get started. The first screen you're presented with has several choices. Open an existing project, create a new project from template, or go to main screen. In this case, since I already have a project created, we'll just do Open Existing, and we can look at all the options in there. Now you see the list of projects that are currently on my system. We'll choose the one here with my name. Okay, now we have a few tabs here that we're going to review. This lesson will basically cover the navigation and how to move around and what all these options are in SunTools, and then we'll get into the specifics of actually programming a TG401 and or an OLE to SF. So you'll notice across the top here we have typical Windows menus: Project, TGX 401. The reason for the X is this could be a TGR 401 or a TGP 401. Templates, Tools, and About. And what we'll do is go through these right now just to explain what each of these does. Most of these options in Project we looked at before, so we have Open, New Project from Template. This option allows you to save off frequently used configurations for later use. So for example, if I've got a system that I always sell that's a TGR 401 with a certain kind of speakers, then I could save this off and keep all those crossover settings, etc. for next time, and then just recall them from template. Save as, that's all pretty self-explanatory. There's your save as template. So this is how I would save off the current entire project as a template. Close, export, import, and exit. Export is handy because this is what we use when troubleshooting via tech support. This creates a zip file of all the project files and sticks it onto your hard drive so that you can email that off to tech support, and then they have everything they need to properly troubleshoot. Okay, the TGX 401 menu has a few options here: update the firmware, transfer to the TGX 401, import from the 401, save and recall settings. And we'll get into these a little later when we're actually looking at the 401 itself. Okay, templates. These are specifically for OLE, so we can get a template for a selected OLE or save the selected OLE as a template. Since right now I have no OLE configured, these options are both grayed out. The Tools menu contains the options to manage the IR library. So when it comes to adding a new remote from a new manufacturer, for example, to the IR database, this would be done through the IR library. And we'll get to that in a later course. Lastly, we have the About screen. If you go into About, you'll see you get a number of version numbers down here. There are several different elements to the program, and as you can see, all these versions are listed. You may be called upon by tech support to provide some of these numbers. You'll also notice that since these numbers differ, we have at the top of the window here, we've got a SunTools version number and then a package version number. The latter is so that we know what version of package. You know, if a subsystem in the SunTools app change versions, we may have a different package number version than the actual core SunTools app. So make sure you take note of both these numbers when calling in to tech support. One final thing to review on the introduction are these three tabs here. The Customer tab is pretty self-explanatory. Customer name, location, and any comments you want to add in there. The next tab is where the meat of the programming for the TGR or TGP 401 lies. And then finally we have the OLE 2 SF. And again, this is where all of the meat for the OLE 2 SF would be. So programming custom icons, doing all of the IR programming per device, that sort of thing. And that concludes this course.